My beloved child, I know there are days when you feel as though you are walking against relentless winds. You look around and see others seeming to move through life more easily, more understood, more accepted, while you must walk through doubtful eyes and words that leave your heart heavy. At times, you wonder why the path of walking with me carries so many trials. But beloved, remember this: a ship only feels the full force of the wind when it is moving in the right direction. If everything around you were always easy, your soul might never learn how to cling to me the way it does now. I have not allowed you to pass through seasons of testing because I have forgotten you. It is within those opposing winds that I am making your faith deeper and stronger. Gold cannot become pure without passing through fire. A seed cannot grow into a mighty tree unless it has first been buried beneath dark soil. And so it is with you. My beloved child, there are spiritual strengths that can only be formed when you continue walking forward, even while your heart is still filled with weariness and uncertainty. You cannot learn how to stand firmly upon the mountaintop unless you have first walked through the valley where everything seems silent. The testing of your faith produces perseverance. As written in James 1:3, every trial you endure is quietly expanding the inner strength of your soul far more than you realize. I know that misunderstanding sometimes wounds you even more deeply than hardship itself. There are things I am doing within you that others cannot see, so they judge you only by what their eyes can understand. Some believe you are weak because you choose gentleness. Some think you are foolish because you continue trusting even before results appear. Others mock your perseverance as though it were meaningless. But my beloved child, do not let their voices become louder than mine within your heart. The world often sees only the seed buried in the ground, unaware that beneath the surface, life is already quietly rising. Remember Abraham. When I called him to leave his homeland and journey toward a place he had never known, he held no clear map in his hands. To many people, he must have appeared like a blind man abandoning everything for an invisible calling. Yet Abraham kept walking because he knew the one who called him was faithful. And in time, the promise I gave him became something remembered for generations. My beloved child, there are steps of faith that will always appear foolish in the eyes of those who have never heard my voice. And remember Noah as well. When he built the ark upon dry ground, people mocked him for many long years. They could not understand why he continued doing something that seemed meaningless while the skies were still clear. But Noah did not build the ark upon human approval. He built it through obedience. And at the appointed time, the very thing once considered foolish became the refuge that saved his family. My beloved child, if you remain faithful to what I have placed within your heart, the day will come when you will see the rain that others still refuse to believe exists today. I am teaching you the lesson of hiddenness. The world often teaches you to seek recognition, applause, and admiring eyes in order to feel valuable. But I am leading you into something deeper. True worth is not found in how many people understand you, but in whether you remain faithful even when no one is watching. Your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. As written in Matthew 6:6, there are seasons when I keep you in silence, not because I have forgotten you, but because your roots must grow deeper before the fruit can appear. My beloved child, do not fear the seasons when it seems no one recognizes what you are doing. The builder who lays the foundation of a house works beneath the ground for a long time before anyone can see the beauty above it. And I am building such a foundation within your soul. There are things I am placing inside you that human eyes cannot see right now. Wisdom formed through pain, mercy born from wounds, and steadfastness shaped through days of waiting. One day, when I have completed my work in you, even those who once doubted will have to acknowledge that my hand has been upon your life from beginning to end. Do not grieve when others do not understand the path you are walking. Even Jesus was misunderstood. rejected, and mocked by the very people he loved. Yet he did not allow human rejection to pull him away from his purpose. My beloved child, I am teaching you to walk in the same way, not living to receive everyone's approval, but living in the peace of knowing that I know who you are. So today, keep walking, even while the wind is still against you. Keep believing, even before you see everything come to pass. Keep building the ark I have entrusted to you, even when others do not understand. Let me quietly write the story of your life. And in the appointed time, when the season I have ordained arrives, you will look back on these difficult days with gratitude. You will understand that the very opposing winds made your faith stronger, that the misunderstandings taught you that my gaze alone is enough, and that the hidden seasons prepared you for something far more glorious than the temporary recognition of the world. My beloved child, never think that your prayers simply vanish into silent emptiness. I know there are nights when you pray through tears, then rise again without yet seeing your circumstances change. There are times when you call out to me in the darkness and wonder whether heaven is truly listening to you. But beloved, let this truth settle deeply within your heart. Every prayer lifted in faith is precious before me. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. As written in James 5:16, no sincere cry is forgotten, even if it is only as small as a sigh in the late night. I do not want you to imagine the life of prayer as a kind of magic that makes the heavens move according to your own will. I want you to understand that prayer is first the place where your soul meets me. When you pray, it is not because I do not already know what you need, but because I desire your heart to draw nearer to me. In the very moments when you open yourself before me, I begin to heal, guide, and renew your soul from within. There are things that change first, not in your circumstances, but in you. And many times, that is the greatest miracle, my beloved child. Do not underestimate the quiet things taking place within your heart each time you speak with me. There are chains of fear slowly losing their power as you choose to keep trusting. There are doors of hope opening within your mind after days of despair. There are wounds being healed little by little through prayers that seem very small. When you speak to me with sincerity, I am working in ways deeper than your eyes can see. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for. As written in Hebrews 11:1, faith does not always see results immediately, but it keeps walking because it knows the one it trusts is faithful. Remember Hannah. She prayed for many years with a heart broken by the pain of being childless. There were moments when her prayers were nothing more than silent tears that others misunderstood. But I heard every one of those tears. And in the appointed time, Samuel was born not only as the answer to a mother's prayer, but as one whom I would use to transform an entire nation. My beloved child, there are prayers you are offering today that are also planting seeds for things far greater than you can imagine at this moment. I know there are times when you grow weary of continuing to pray while everything still seems silent. You wonder how much longer you must wait. But understand this, waiting does not mean I am not working. A farmer who plants seed into the soil does not dig it up every day to see whether it has begun to grow. He trusts that beneath the dark earth, life is quietly rising. In the same way, there are things I am building in your life through silence. And often, the things formed quietly are the things that endure the longest. My beloved child, faith is not understanding all of my plans before taking another step. Faith is continuing forward, even without seeing the entire path. When Peter stepped out of the boat onto the water, he did not know what each next step would look like. He only knew that the Lord was before him, and what kept him standing was not his own strength, but the fact that his eyes remained fixed on Jesus. So it is with you. My child, do not wait until everything becomes clear before you believe. Trust that I am with you even while the night still feels long. I know there are moments when others cannot understand why you continue to hope. They look at the delay and think your faith is useless. They see prayers unanswered in the way they expected and assume you are chasing something impossible. But my beloved child, do not let the doubts of others extinguish the flame I am keeping alive within your heart. Noah continued building the ark even though there was no rain. Abraham kept walking even before seeing the promised land. And you too are being called to remain faithful, even in seasons where no fruit is yet visible. One day, my beloved child, you will look back upon every dark night you have walked through and understand that no prayer was ever meaningless. You will see flowers blooming from the very ground that once seemed driest in your life. You will realize that the seasons of waiting taught you to trust more deeply. The tears softened your heart, and the silence taught you to hear my voice more clearly than during the noisy days. So today, keep praying. Keep walking, even though the results have not yet appeared before your eyes. Do not lose heart when others fail to understand your journey. Allow me to work quietly within your life, according to my perfect timing. And in time, the fruit itself will speak. People will not only see outward change, but they will see a soul transformed by faith, perseverance, and my love. Then you will understand that you were never walking alone, because through every season, every dark night, and every breath, I have always been beside you, my beloved child. There will be days when the noise of the world rises like crashing waves, trying to drown out my gentle voice within your heart. Anxious thoughts will crowd your mind. Fear about the future will try to pull you off course. At times, uneasiness will come like a cold wind, making your soul tremble and question whether you still have the strength to keep going. But beloved, in the midst of all those chaotic sounds, I am still speaking to you, not through the shouting voice of pressure, but through the deep peace found within a heart that rests in me. Be still and know that I am God. As written in Psalm 46:10, my voice does not compete with the noise. It waits for you to quiet your heart enough to hear it. I know you have walked through seasons in which your soul felt nearly exhausted. There were nights when you fought battles of disappointment that no one else could see. There were burdens you carried for so long that you almost forgot what it felt like to be at peace. And there were moments when you questioned why you had to endure so many trials while your heart longed only for rest. But my beloved child, no season of pain in your life has ever been meaningless. I do not waste your tears. It is within the fire of these trials that I am making your faith stronger. It is within the storm that the roots of your soul are growing deeper into trust in me. Remember Elijah after his victory over the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel. Even after such a great miracle, there came a time when he was exhausted and wanted to give up in the wilderness. He expected to find me in the mighty wind, in the earthquake, or in the raging fire. Yet, in the end, I came to him through a still, gentle whisper. My beloved child, I am coming to you in the same way. Not all of my guidance arrives through dramatic signs. Often, I lead you through a quiet peace that gently enters your mind, even while everything around you still feels chaotic. And that peace will become the compass for your soul. You are stronger than you think, not because you have never been broken, but because I have been with you through every moment of brokenness. The fires you have walked through did not destroy you. They are refining you like gold tested in the flame. The storms you once believed would drown you are actually causing the roots of your faith to grow deeper. Today, you are no longer the same person you were in past seasons. I am renewing you day by day. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. As written in 2 Corinthians 5:17, you may not yet see the fullness of that transformation, but little by little, I am healing what is old and breathing new life into your soul. My beloved child, Begin to look at your life through the eyes of trust rather than doubt. Nothing in your journey is accidental. I am the one weaving every thread into the story of your life, even the parts that now seem tangled and difficult to understand. There are turns in the road that made you think you were lost, when in truth, I was redirecting you towards something better. There are doors that closed and caused you pain. Yet one day you will realize they protected you from what did not belong to you. All things work together for good to those who love God. As written in Romans 8:28, even the things you do not yet understand today are still held within my wise hands. Do not fear when I lead you into places you have never walked before. Abraham also had to leave his homeland without knowing exactly where he was going. Peter also had to step out of the familiar boat to walk upon the water. And every time I call a soul into something new, I never leave them alone in the middle of the journey. If I open a door, I will also provide what you need to walk through it. You do not need to see the entire path before taking the next step. You only need to know that I am with you. My beloved child, prepare your heart not with anxiety, but with peaceful expectation. There are good things I am bringing closer to you than you realize. There are opportunities that today you cannot yet imagine, but they will appear at the appointed time. There are doors that once seemed permanently closed, yet they will open again in ways that will make you recognize my hand upon them. But when these new things arrive, do not allow your heart to be overtaken by fear or by the feeling that you are not capable enough. What I call, I also equip. What I begin, I will also complete. I want you to learn how to trust the process even when it is not yet clear. The weaver sees the entire tapestry while the person standing behind sees only tangled threads. You are living in the middle of the story. So, at times, you cannot fully understand what I am doing. But I see the ending from the very beginning, and I declare that the plans I have for you are not to destroy you, but to give you a future and a hope. So, today, my beloved child, rest in my presence. Do not allow the noise of the world to become louder than the peace I am placing within your heart. Keep walking, even though not everything is yet clear. Keep trusting, even while the journey still holds many unknowns. And day by day, you will come to realize that even in the seasons that seem most chaotic, I was quietly leading you toward the light, the healing, and the blessings I prepared for you long ago. My beloved child, let your heart rest in this truth. My love for you does not change according to the seasons you walk through. It does not grow greater when you succeed, nor does it become smaller when you stumble. I do not love you because you are perfect. I love you because you are my child. Even before you understood yourself, I already knew every weakness, every failure, every moment when you would act out of fear or selfishness. Yet none of those things caused me to turn away from you. I have loved you with an everlasting love. As written in Jeremiah 31:3, this love is not a passing emotion, but a lasting covenant I placed upon your life before you ever cried your first breath. I know there are times when you look back at your past and wonder whether you have ruined all the good things I once prepared for you. There are mistakes that fill you with such shame that you struggle to lift your eyes toward the future. There are decisions you wish you had never made. But my beloved child, do not allow guilt and regret to become the only mirror through which you see yourself. You are not defined by failure. You are being shaped by my grace. What the world calls broken beyond repair, I can still touch and renew through my love and wisdom. Remember Peter? He denied Jesus 3 times in the darkness of the night, even after boldly promising that he would never leave him. From a human perspective, that could have seemed like too great a failure for someone called to be a disciple. But I did not see Peter as a finished failure. After that broken moment, I restored him with love, and then I used him to lead many souls. My beloved child, I am doing the same with you. The broken pieces you believe should only be hidden away. I can transform into a testimony of mercy and restoration. I want you to understand that no pain you have endured is meaningless. The seasons of uncertainty, the days you wrestled with fear, the moments of rejection and delay, all of them are shaping the person I am forming within you. A potter does not shape a vessel with gentle touches alone. There are times when the clay must be pressed, turned, and softened again and again before its beautiful form appears. O house of Israel, can I not do with you as this potter does, as written in Jeremiah 18? Lo, you are the clay in my hands, and I am shaping you with a tenderness deeper than what you can see today. There are disappointments you believed were the end of the story, when in truth, they were only doors I was closing in order to lead you somewhere better. There are delays that have wearied you through waiting, yet those very seasons are preparing your inner life for something greater. If Joseph had never been sold into Egypt, he would not have stepped into the position that saved many lives. If Moses had never walked through the wilderness, he would not have been humbled enough to lead an entire nation. My beloved child, the things you call failures are often simply the way I redirect your life away from what is small in order to lead you toward a greater purpose. Do not think that I am punishing you every time a door closes. I am not a father who delights in watching you suffer. There are things I remove from your hands because I can see what you cannot yet see. A closed door today may be protecting you from a deeper pain tomorrow. A delay today may be my way of preparing the perfect moment for you to step into something new. For I know the plans I have for you. Plans for peace and not for evil. To give you a future and a hope. As written in Jeremiah 29:11. That promise does not change simply because your present journey is still covered in mist. My beloved child, I know there are times when you want to see the entire picture immediately. You want to understand why you must walk this difficult road, why you must wait so long, why so many things have not yet come to pass. But remember that you are viewing your life from only a very small piece. While I see the whole picture, the weaver sees the completed pattern, while the thread itself only feels the stretching and the turning. One day, when you look back, you will realize that even the moments that seem most chaotic were being used by me to weave something beautiful. I do not love you less on the days when you are weak, nor do I move away from you when you feel disappointed in yourself. In truth, those are often the moments when I draw even closer. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. As written in Psalm 147:3, I am quietly restoring the parts of you that you believed had been shattered for far too long. And I am not merely repairing them to what they once were, I am making them stronger, deeper, and more beautiful than before. So today, my beloved child, stop looking at your life as a chain of mistakes beyond redemption. See it instead as the journey of a soul being transformed by grace. Do not fear closed doors or long seasons of waiting. Do not believe that delay means abandonment. I am still leading you, even when you cannot yet clearly see the light ahead. Keep trusting. Allow me to continue shaping you. And in the appointed time, you will see that the very things causing you the deepest pain today were the places where I was quietly preparing you to step into a future filled with hope, peace, and new life within my unchanging love. My beloved child, I did not create you to live forever beneath the shadow of condemnation. I did not form you so that each day you would stand before the courtroom of your own mind, reading old accusations over yourself and imprisoning your soul within shame and regret. You were created for light, for freedom, for love. But I know there have been years when you lived as though you constantly had to prove your worth, trying to be good enough to be accepted, strong enough to be loved, perfect enough to deserve forgiveness. My child, lay down that burden and rest. You do not need to earn my love through your own striving. I loved you long before you ever learned how to walk in righteousness. There are moments when you look back at your past and believe that those mistakes have ruined every beautiful thing I once intended for you. You remember the times you were weak, the wrong decisions you made, the people you hurt, or the seasons when you drifted far from me. Then the voice of condemnation begins to whisper that you are no longer worthy. But, my beloved child, I have never loved you based on your perfection. If my love only existed when you did everything right, then it would no longer be grace. God demonstrates His own love toward us, in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. As written in Romans 5th act, I chose to love you in the midst of your imperfection, not after you had cleaned and repaired your life enough to appear worthy. You no longer need to stand alone in that courtroom of accusation. My child, I have already stood in your place. When every charge against you was lifted up, I carried them upon the cross. When you believed you had to pay for every failure yourself, I paid the price for you through my love and my blood. So today, I'm calling you to step down from the judge's seat where you have sat for far too long, condemning yourself. You do not have the right to keep a sentence that I have already erased. There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. As written in Romans 8:1, this is not merely a comforting phrase, it is an eternal truth I have spoken over your life. My beloved child, learn how to live as one who has been forgiven. Breathe as one who has been rescued from old chains. Love as one who was first loved. Do not allow the wounds of the past to close your heart to the new life I desire to pour into you. There are people who continue living in a dark room, even though the door has long been opened. And I am calling you to step into the light in the same way. Do not keep returning to pick up the chains I have already broken and place them back upon yourself. I do not only forgive you, I restore your honor, your value, and your purpose. Remember the prodigal son. When he returned home, he only hoped to become a servant in his father's house because he believed he was no longer worthy to be called a son. But the father ran to embrace him before he could even finish his confession. He clothed him with a new robe, placed a ring upon his hand, and prepared a feast of celebration. My beloved child, this is how I look at you as well. I do not receive you with the cold eyes of reluctance. I welcome you with the joy of a father who has never stopped longing for the day you would draw near to me again. I know there have been many nights when you felt forgotten in the darkness. There were moments when you believed no one even remembered your existence in this world. Voices of accusation echoed through your mind, telling you that you were a failure, that you no longer had value, that my love had abandoned you long ago. But my child, those are not my words. I do not speak to you through crushing despair and hopelessness. Even in the darkest nights of your life, I was still there. When you cried in silence, I heard you. When you collapsed in weariness, I lifted you up even when you did not realize it. I will never leave you nor forsake you. As written in Hebrews 13:5, there is a light I placed within you from the very beginning of creation, and no failure can completely extinguish it. At times it may seem like nothing more than a small ember buried beneath the ashes of pain and shame, but it is still there, and I am gently breathing the breath of life upon it once again. Stop looking at yourself through the eyes of disappointment. See yourself through my eyes, eyes that still see potential within brokenness. Still see beauty among shattered pieces. Still see a future even when your present is covered in mist. My beloved child, step out of the room of self-condemnation. Let the final voice over your life belong to me, not to the accusations within your own mind. And my voice is still declaring this over you. You are my beloved child. You are chosen, redeemed, and loved with a love that will never run dry. Nothing in your past is stronger than my grace. No failure is greater than my mercy. And no darkness can extinguish the light I placed within you from the beginning. My beloved child, do not place the security of your soul entirely upon walls built by your own strength. People often believe they can preserve their peace through control, through work, through achievements, or through the familiar things surrounding them. Yet there will come seasons when all those things that once seemed stable begin to shake, and you realize that your soul is still longing for something deeper. Not because I desire to frighten you, but because I want you to understand that true peace does not come from holding everything tightly in your own hands, but from anchoring your life in me. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. As written in Psalm 127:1, I know there have been seasons when your peace slowly faded and you could not even understand why. You found your heart becoming more weary, prayer becoming more difficult, and my presence seeming more distant. And then you began to believe that I had moved away from you. But, my beloved child, many times it is not that I have left you, but that your soul has slowly been pulled too far away from its resting place in me by busyness, anxieties, hidden fears, and the many things you use to fill the emptiness within yourself. There are moments when you try to heal that emptiness through more work, through the approval of others, through temporary pleasures, or through endless distraction. Yet nothing in this world can replace the life I placed within your soul. My child, I do not want you to think of these things as some mysterious, dark energy controlling your life. What most often pulls your soul away from me is not frightening hidden powers, but the gradual cooling of the heart when you stop seeking me each day. Darkness grows wherever light is neglected. A room does not need to be attacked in order to become dark. It only needs the absence of light. And so it is with your soul. When you stop nourishing your inner life with love, truth, prayer, and rest in me, your heart becomes vulnerable to weariness, bitterness, and confusion. But hear me clearly. My beloved child, you have never gone beyond my reach. Even in the moments when you feel most lost, I am still nearer than you realize. These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. As written in Matthew 15:8, was not spoken to condemn you, but to remind you that what I desire is not empty ritual, but a heart that truly turns back toward me. One sincere prayer spoken in weakness is more precious than 1,000 lifeless words repeated without love. I have watched many souls search for comfort in places that could never heal them. They seek fullness in possessions, in relationships, in the approval of the world. Yet the more they try to fill themselves, the emptier they become. For your soul was created to live within my presence, just as a traveler in the desert cannot survive on sand instead of water. Your soul cannot remain healthy without the living water that comes from me. Remember the woman at the well whom Jesus met in Samaria. She had searched for fulfillment through many relationships, yet her life still remained dry and empty. But then the Lord said to her, "Whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst again." My beloved child, I am inviting you back to that living water as well, not to false comforts that quickly fade away, but to the true life that can soothe the deepest thirst within your soul. I delight when you pray, when you give thanks, and when you learn to forgive, not because these things are some kind of formula against darkness, but because they keep your heart open to my light. Every time you forgive, you are clearing away another dark corner from within yourself. Every time you give thanks in the middle of hardship, you are reminding your soul that hope still remains. Every time you pray, you are drawing near again to the true source of peace. This is how the light continues burning within you. My beloved child, take care of the house of your soul. Not only the room where you live, but also the things you allow to enter your mind and heart each day. There are words that make your soul heavy. There are images and habits that slowly pull your heart away from purity and peace. I do not say these things so that you will live in fear or become extreme, but so that you may learn to discern what brings life and what slowly drains your soul. Guard your heart above all else, for everything you do flows from it. As written in Proverbs 4:23, read my word not as a dry obligation, but as a thirsty traveler searching for water in the desert. For every word I speak carries life and light. Begin your mornings with a few quiet moments before me, not to prove your spirituality, but so your soul may breathe again. Let my voice become louder than the noise of the world. And if there comes a day when the light within you feels weak, do not despair. As long as you open the door of your heart again, I am still ready to enter and rekindle that flame. For my beloved child, the light within you does not come from this world. It comes from me, the one who breathed life into your soul from the very beginning. And wherever I am present, there is still hope, still healing, and still new life. My beloved child, let me awaken again within you the light I placed in your soul from the beginning. Not a light born from temporary emotion or human strength, but the light of the life I give, the light of deep joy, of kindness, of simple faith that still trusts me, even when your eyes cannot yet see anything changing. I know there have been seasons when you became weary, when your heart grew heavy from too many disappointments and battles. There were times when you almost forgot what it felt like to pray with your whole heart. Forgot the days when trusting me came as naturally as breathing. But my child, what I placed within you has never died. It has only been covered by the dust of anxiety, fear, and exhaustion. And today, I am calling you to remember again. Remember, therefore, from where you have fallen. As written in Revelation 2:5, I do not say this to condemn you, but to awaken the goodness that is still quietly burning within your soul. There are flames that never fully go out. They only need to be breathed upon again with the breath of life. My beloved child, the light within you is not something you created for yourself, and therefore circumstances cannot easily extinguish it. No rejection from people is stronger than what I have spoken over your life. No failure is great enough to erase the mark I placed upon your soul from the moment of creation. I also want you to understand that I am not calling you to become a warrior in the way the world imagines, filled with anger, tension, and constantly living in opposition to everything around you. I am calling you to become someone who stands firm in truth and love, someone who does not surrender to darkness, yet also refuses to let their own heart become dark from fighting too long. True courage is not found in never feeling fear, but in continuing to walk forward even when your legs have trembled. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. As written in Joshua 1:9, for your strength does not begin within yourself. It begins with my presence beside you. You do not exist on this earth by accident. I knew every one of your days before even one of them began. Everything you have gone through, including tears, delays, and seasons of pain, has been shaping the person I desire to build within you. A true warrior is not formed through peaceful days alone, but through learning how to stand firm in the middle of trials without losing mercy and compassion. The wounds you carry are not proof that you have failed. Often they are signs that you have lived, loved, fought, and are still standing here today. Just as Jacob walked with a limp after wrestling with God, there are battles that leave marks upon your soul, yet also lead you into a new identity. I want you to remember that you are not fighting by your own strength, but understand this clearly. Spiritual armor is not some mystical energy to use against the world in fear. The breastplate of righteousness is a life of integrity and purity before me. The shield of faith is trust in my promises, even in the midst of doubt. The sword of the Word of God is truth that brings light to your mind, so you will not be deceived by despair and falsehood. Put on the whole armor of God. As written in Ephesians 6:11, not so, you will live obsessed with darkness, but so you may live awake, steadfast, and grounded in the light. My beloved child, there will be times when old fears return to knock upon the door of your heart. Old wounds will try to pull you back into the person you once were. You may again feel weary, again want to react with anger, or run away from the things that hurt you. But this time, I want you to learn how to stand still within my peace instead of being ruled by your emotions. Jesus remained silent before many accusations, not because he was weak, but because he refused to let darkness determine his response. My child, I am teaching you the strength of that kind of peace as well, the strength of a soul that knows to whom it belongs. I know that words about light and darkness can make your heart feel heavy if you see them only through fear. But what I am doing is not creating panic. I am revealing truth. And when light shines, falsehood naturally becomes exposed. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. As written in John 9:5, there are gray areas in your life that you once tried to compromise with habits that drained your soul, excuses that slowly pulled you away from truth, ways of living that robbed your heart of peace. I am not exposing these things to shame you, but to free you from what has been keeping you trapped in confusion and weariness. Remember Elijah on Mount Carmel when the people kept wavering between two sides. He said, "How long will you waver between two opinions?" There are moments when your soul must also decide clearly what it will pursue. No one can truly seek the light while continuing to cling to the things that constantly pull them back toward darkness. But my beloved child, I do not force you through fear. I invite you through love. I want you to choose the light because you realize that it is the place where your soul truly comes alive. So today, let me renew your heart. Let me remove the layers of disappointment and compromise that have covered the light within you for far too long. Rise up, not as someone panicked by darkness, but as one who knows they are loved, guided, and protected by me. Walk in truth, in mercy, and in peace. And then you will see that the light I placed within you is not only enough for yourself, but will also become a lamp guiding other souls who are wandering through the darkness of this world. My beloved child, in the nights when you lie still in tears and think the heavens are silent, I am still quietly working in places your eyes cannot yet see. Not one of your tears falls in vain. I see every sob caught in your throat, every prayer left unfinished, every moment when all you could do was sit in silence and turn your heart toward me. And my child, it is often within those moments that seem weakest to you that I am planting the seeds of restoration into the softened soil of your soul. Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. As written in Psalm 126:5, what you call pain today, I am using to nurture a season of fruitfulness beyond what you can yet imagine. I do not work according to human haste. You often want to see answers immediately, to receive clear signs before continuing to believe. But my beloved child, heaven moves according to a wisdom far deeper than what your eyes can perceive. A farmer who plants seed into the ground does not expect a harvest the next morning. He understands that beneath the dark soil, life is quietly forming. In the same way, when you sit in silence, believing that nothing is changing, I am still preparing people, arranging circumstances, and opening doors that you do not yet know exist. Some miracles are formed in silence long before they ever appear before your eyes. Remember Lazarus. When everyone believed the story had ended inside the tomb, I was preparing to reveal a greater glory. There are moments when your life also feels like dry ground with no sign of life remaining. But, my beloved child, It is precisely within the places you believe are dead that I am preparing new life to rise again. I do not arrive too late. I always arrive according to heaven's perfect timing. For with God nothing shall be impossible. As written in Luke 1:37, I know there are days when you grow weary of continuing to wait. Faith can sometimes make you feel as though you are walking through a dense mist without seeing where the path leads. Yet, it is within that very place of testing that true faith is formed. Faith is not simply feeling strong when everything goes well. Faith is when tears still remain upon your face. Yet your heart still dares to say, I know the Lord is still here. Faith is a small oil lamp burning in the middle of a great storm. And my beloved child, every time you continue trusting me in the darkness, your soul is becoming far stronger than you realize. Do not think your faith is too small to matter. Jesus once said that faith as small as a mustard seed could move mountains. What brings joy to heaven is not the size of your faith, but the fact that you continue turning toward me in the moments when giving up would be easiest. When you choose hope instead of despair. When you give thanks in the middle of loss. When you still manage to smile even while your heart aches. You become a light to the souls around you. There are people who will come to recognize me, not through great sermons, but through the way you continue showing kindness in the middle of storms. My beloved child, I am also calling you deeper into true fellowship with me, beyond the dryness of lifeless forms and empty rituals. I do not want you merely to speak about me with your lips, while your heart remains far away. I want you to know me the way a child knows the voice of their father. There have been years when you tried to search for me through outward practices, while your soul still felt empty. You recited familiar prayers, yet your spirit remained thirsty. Not because I was distant, but because I have always desired something deeper than that, a heart truly open to me. Remember Mary, who sat at Jesus' feet simply to listen to him. While Martha was overwhelmed with many tasks of service, Martha was not wrong to serve. But Mary chose the better portion, my presence. My beloved child, I am inviting you into that place as well. Not the place where you try to impress me through spiritual achievements, but the place where you simply remain near me with a sincere heart. I do not require ceremonial robes or beautiful words in order to come near to you. When you sigh and whisper, Lord, I need you, I am already there. Do not let fear convince you that I am a God who waits only to judge your failures. I did not come to crush weary souls. I came to set them free. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. As written in Matthew 9:13, what I seek is not perfection in religious performance, but living love within your heart. I want to restore within you the joy of salvation, the joy of belonging to me, instead of living beneath the heavy burden of obligation. My beloved child, let me awaken again within you the flame that has been dimmed by familiarity, disappointment, and the noise of the world. Seek me in your breathing, in quiet moments, in the places where you are most honest. For my voice is often not found in loudness, but in the gentle wind touching a soul that is willing to listen. And when you hear my voice, even if only as the softest whisper, you will realize that life is rising within you once again. And one day, you will understand that what I desired most was never a life full of religious appearances, but a real love between you and me, a living, intimate love that will never fade away. And within that love, you will finally find what your soul has always been searching for: peace, life, and a light that nothing in this world can extinguish. My beloved child, I want you to understand that heaven does not seek hearts that are forced into obedience, but hearts willing to open themselves in trust. I do not enter your life as an invader, but as a father standing at the door and gently knocking. My power does not lack the strength to act, yet I still desire your response through faith and the willing surrender of love. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. As written in Revelation 3:20, when you open your heart, my light begins to flow into the places once covered by fear and exhaustion. My beloved child, do not think that spiritual life is about depending on angels or mysterious things beyond human understanding. Angels serve my will, but what I seek first is still your heart. I do not need you to become someone so strong that you never tremble in fear. I only desire that you be honest enough to say, Lord, I need you. It is within that openness that my light begins to pour in. When I call you to make your house a place filled with light again, I am not speaking only about the house of brick and stone where you live. I am speaking about the house of your soul, the place where your thoughts, memories, and emotions dwell each day. There are corners within you that have been filled with anxiety for far too long. There are rooms inside your heart that remain locked because of old wounds. There are memories hidden away in darkness because you are afraid to face them. And then you wonder why peace seems unable to remain. But my beloved child, I do not come to condemn those places. I come to bring healing light into them. Do not try to drive out darkness through fear of darkness itself. Let the light be turned on instead. Every time you pray with a sincere heart, every time you choose forgiveness instead of bitterness, every time you choose truth instead of despair, you are opening the door for my light to enter. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. As written in Ephesians 4:26, for bitterness and prolonged fear slowly make the soul heavier, but love and truth bring life. I rejoice when you open the scriptures, but not as though they were a pressured ritual or some kind of mystical weapon against every fear. I want you to open my word as a thirsty traveler searching for water in the desert, for within it there is life, truth, and my voice speaking to you. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. As written in Psalm 119-105, that light does not merely expose darkness, it also guides you step by step through the journey of your life. Remember Jesus when he was tempted in the wilderness. He did not resist through panic or fear, but through the truth of the Word of God. My beloved child, what keeps your soul steady is not obsession with darkness, but a mind anchored in truth. When you read my word with an open heart, your mind begins to be renewed. The lies that once convinced you that you were worthless begin to lose their power. The fears that once imprisoned you begin to dissolve beneath the light of truth. I also want you to understand that the atmosphere around you changes most powerfully not through tense rituals, but through the presence of love, peace, and truth. A home where people pray for one another, listen to one another, and forgive one another will be filled with more light than any place full of grand declarations, but lacking love. When you read my word and then live it out through kindness and sincerity, my light is already present there. My beloved child, do not allow your life with me to become a chain of heavy obligations. I do not want you to open the scriptures merely because you fear something bad will happen if you do not. I want you to come near to me, the way a child returns home after a long and weary day. Read my words slowly, allowing them to soak into your soul like cool water. There are verses that will become exactly the light you need for the season you are walking through. There are promises that will hold you steady in the days when your faith feels weakest. Darkness cannot remain where light continues to burn, and that light does not come from your own strength. It comes from me, the one who is nearer to you than even the breath within your lungs. So today, my beloved child, open your heart once again. Let me enter the places you have kept locked away for far too long. Let my word become a source of peace rather than a burden. And then you will see that what heaven has always desired was never to make you afraid of darkness, but to help you live fully within the light, the truth, and my unfailing love. My beloved child, I rejoice when you listen to my words. But I also want you to understand that faith is not merely a beautiful feeling within your heart or comforting thoughts that soothe you for a moment. True faith always leads to a transformed life, not transformation driven by fear, but by love and trust in me. Faith without works is dead. As written in James 2:17, this does not mean you must strain yourself to prove your spirituality, but that my light should truly touch the way you live, the way you love, and the way you walk each day. I know there are times when you hear my voice yet still hesitate to move forward. There are things I have placed upon your heart, forgiveness that needs to be given, habits that need to be released, prayers that need to begin again, new steps that require courage, but fear has kept you standing still for too long. Then you wonder why your soul still feels heavy. My beloved child, prolonged hesitation often exhausts the soul more than the trial itself, not because darkness has greater power than you, but because your heart becomes trapped between what I am calling you toward and what you still refuse to let go of. But I do not want you to act me took panic or believe that heaven depends on you fighting hard enough. I do not need you to become someone who shouts at darkness. I want you to become someone who walks in obedience and peace. True strength is not found in outward intensity, but in a heart that trusts me even when everything is not yet clear. Jesus did not overcome through the roar of anger, but through complete obedience to the Father. And my beloved child, that is the same path I am teaching you to walk. When you say, I belong to God, what gives your soul stability is not that those words are some kind of magic spell, making all evil disappear instantly. The power comes from the truth behind them. You truly belong to me. Nothing can separate you from my love when you abide in me. If God is for us, who can be against us? As written in Romans 8:31, that truth was given so you may live in peace. Not so you may live in fear of the forces around you. My beloved child, I also want you to rightly understand angels and Michael. Michael is a faithful servant carrying out my will. But what preserves your soul is not an obsession with invisible battles. What keeps you standing firm is a living relationship with me. I do not want you to live constantly afraid that something terrible is about to happen if you are not spiritually strong enough. I do not lead you through panic. I lead you through love, truth, and peace. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. As written in 2 Timothy 1:7, remember Peter when he stepped out of the boat onto the stormy sea. What kept him standing upon the water was not focusing on the storm or fearing that he would sink. It was keeping his eyes fixed on Jesus that held him steady. And when he began looking at the waves, fear pulled him downward. My beloved child, I am teaching you the same lesson. Do not stare constantly into darkness while trying to fight it through your own strength. Look toward me instead. Peace comes when your soul anchors itself in my presence more than in fear of what stands against you. When you truly begin to walk in faith, the first thing that often changes is not your outward circumstances, but the atmosphere within your heart. The heaviness slowly begins to fade. Your mind becomes clearer. You no longer react with panic the way you once did. A deep peace begins to remain within your soul, not because every problem disappears immediately, but because you know you are no longer fighting alone. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds. As written in Philippians 4:7, I want you to understand that words spoken in faith carry real power when they come from a heart that lives close to me. A blessing spoken over your family. Forgiveness extended to someone who wounded you. A simple prayer whispered in weakness. These things can change the atmosphere around you far more than you realize. Not because they are magical formulas, but because my love and truth are moving through them. So today, My beloved child, take action, but not through fear. Walk in faith through simple and sincere things. Open the scriptures and let my word nourish your soul. Pray instead of only worrying. Forgive instead of holding judgment in your heart. Choose love even when it is difficult. This is how my light becomes alive within your life. Then you will begin to realize that the greatest miracle is not dramatic signs on the outside, but the renewal of your soul from within. The heaviness will slowly lift away. Peace will return like cool water upon dry ground, and you will know that heaven is not far away. My child, for I have been with you through every breath, every tear, and every step you have taken from the beginning to the end of this journey. My beloved child, I know there have been seasons when you did not drift away from me through some great rebellion or dramatic decision. Everything began very quietly. One day you became too busy to sit still before me. Another time you allowed the noise of the world to fill your mind more than the gentle voice of the Holy Spirit. There were stretches of time when you became so accustomed to constantly running that you forgot how to rest within my presence. And little by little, your heart began to grow weary without even understanding why. I saw those moments, my beloved child, not to record your failures as accusations against you, but because I love you too deeply to ignore when your soul begins drifting away from its source of life. There are voices around you constantly urging you to move faster, become stronger, achieve more, prove your worth again and again. And in the middle of all that noise, it became harder for you to hear my voice, not because I had become silent, but because your heart had become crowded with anxiety and pressure. Then doubt began slipping in very quietly. It did not arrive like a violent storm at first. It only planted small questions within your mind. Is God still leading me? Was that promise ever real? Am I waiting in vain, my beloved child? This is often how fear grows, not through loud declarations, but through prolonged weariness that slowly weakens your trust. But remember this, a question in your heart does not make me abandon you. Even the people I loved most deeply throughout Scripture had moments of weakness and confusion. Remember Elijah. After the great victory on Mount Carmel, he ran into the wilderness in fear and despair, believing he was completely alone. But I did not come to him with anger or condemnation. I gave him rest, gave him food and drink, and then spoke to him through a gentle whisper. My beloved child, I am coming to you in the same way. I do not speak to crush you with guilt. I speak to awaken your soul and call it back to the place of true peace. This is not the hour of condemnation. This is the hour of redemption. I am not calling you back because I want you to live in shame, but because I know your soul only truly lives when it is near me. Return to me, and I will return to you. As written in Malachi 3-7, just one sincere moment of opening yourself to me can change the direction of your whole soul. One honest prayer in the darkness can bring light back to a place that seemed cold for a long time. My beloved child, do not think you must become perfect before you are allowed to return. The prodigal son came home while his clothes were still torn and his heart was still full of shame. But the father ran to embrace him before he could even finish his apology. I am looking at you in the same way. I am not waiting for you to fix yourself enough before opening the door. I am only waiting for you to turn your face toward me once again. Darkness cannot take root for long where the light has been turned on. And that light begins with very simple things. A quiet moment you set aside for me in the middle of a busy day. A sincere prayer instead of only worrying. A time when you open the scriptures to seek life rather than only searching the world for quick answers. Do not underestimate those small steps. The mustard seed is very small, but when it is planted in the right place, it can still grow into a strong tree. I know there are times when you feel too far away to ever draw near to me again as you once did. But, my beloved child, The greatest distance is not that I have moved away from you, but that you have forgotten I am still right here. There has not been a single day when I stopped seeing you. There has not been a single night when I stopped listening to the cry of your heart, even when you no longer clearly feel my presence. I am still holding your soul in my hand. So today, pause for a moment amid all the noise. Let your heart become still and speak to me simply. Lord, I want to draw near to you again. I do not need beautiful words. I only desire a heart that opens sincerely, and little by little, doubt will lose its strength. Peace will return, and you will realize that my voice never disappeared. It has always been there, gentle, patient, and full of love, waiting for you to listen from the deepest place within your soul. My beloved child, there are movements around your life that ordinary eyes do not easily recognize. Not everything that affects your soul appears clearly before you. There are quiet pressures from a life that moves too quickly, from the calls of ambition, from the fear of having to keep up with others so you will not be left behind. There are invisible currents pulling your heart farther away from the peace I desire to give you. And then you find your soul becoming dry without understanding why. But my child, I see deeper than what you can see. I know the things trying to weary your soul, cool your faith, and make the light within you flicker. Do not be surprised when you feel opposition rising against you along the journey. The sower of seed is always pursued by birds seeking to steal away what is precious. And your soul carries something precious, the purpose, the light, and the life I placed within you from the very beginning. Jesus said, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life, and have it abundantly." As written in John Zine, my beloved child, I do not want you to shrink back in fear of darkness, but I do want you to remain awake to the truth that your soul carries great value. It is precisely because you are precious that there will always be things trying to pull you away from the true source of life. But hear me clearly, your future is not locked into an unchangeable fate. Nothing happening today is greater than my redeeming power. The moment you turn your heart back toward me, the direction of your life can begin to change. Roads that once led you into weariness can become pathways back to peace. Seasons of drought can bloom again when you allow me to touch them. If my people humble themselves, pray, and seek my face, I will heal their land. As written in 2 Chronicles 7:14, I always make a way for restoration when your heart opens itself through trust and surrender. My beloved child, salvation is not built upon fear, but upon love returned. I do not want you to follow me merely because you fear loss or abandonment. I want you to follow me because you recognize that true life is found in me. There are things you need to release, not because they appear obviously evil, but because they are slowly draining the life from your soul. There are relationships that leave your heart heavier every time you walk away from them. There are habits that make your mind too noisy to hear my voice. There are rhythms of life so rushed that you forget how to sit still within my presence. I do not force you to change through pressure or control. I simply and gently reveal to you the things that are causing your soul to wither. Just as a gardener prunes certain branches so the tree may live more fully, there are things you need to lay down so your heart may once again have room for light and peace. And my child, I know this is not always easy. You have known disappointment. You have placed your trust in others and been wounded. You have held tightly to certain hopes, only to watch them fall apart in your hands. And because of that, trusting again now feels frightening. But I am not like the things that wounded you. The Lord is not a man, that he should lie. As written in Numbers 23:19, I do not change according to emotions. I do not love you today and abandon you tomorrow. When I say that I will be with you, it is not a fragile promise. It is a covenant carved by everlasting love. Remember Abraham when he left his homeland without knowing where he was going. He walked forward, not because he understood the entire journey, but because he trusted the one who called him faithful. And my beloved child, I am inviting you to walk in the same way, not with every answer already in your hands, but with my hand holding yours. I have already prepared a path for you, not only a distant promise for eternity someday, but a way forward for this very life, a path where I desire to lead you day by day through wisdom, peace, and light. There are doors I have prepared long ago. There are people I will bring into your life at the appointed time. There is protection surrounding you that you have never even noticed. He will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways, as written in Psalm 91:11. But in order to recognize that path, you must slow down enough to listen. My beloved child, lay down the things that only demand urgency on the surface, so you may take hold of what truly carries eternal value. The world constantly pressures you to move faster, possess more, and control more. But your soul was never created to live beneath that endless strain. I am calling you back to the rhythm of heaven, where you no longer struggle to hold everything together by yourself, but instead learn to hold my hand like a child who trusts their father. Pause today. My child, look again at the path you are walking. Listen more deeply to the gentle whisper, still calling your name in the midst of all the noise of the world. For I have never forgotten you, and the light I placed within you is still there, waiting to be breathed into flame once again through my unfailing love and presence. My beloved child, become still for a moment amid the crowded movements of life, because not everything influencing your soul can be seen with natural eyes. Some pressures come very quietly, an invitation that seems harmless yet slowly pulls you away from purity. A pace of life so rushed that you forget to pray. A relationship that leaves your heart heavier after every encounter. A strange desire whispering that you can fill the emptiness within yourself without me. None of these things always appear openly evil, yet they can slowly drain away the living water I placed within you. So do not be surprised when you feel surrounded or pressured. A thief does not break into an empty house. It seeks the place where something valuable is kept. And you, my beloved child, carry within yourself the seed of purpose, light, and life that I planted from the very beginning. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life, and have it abundantly. As written in John, seen. I do not say this to make you afraid, but to remind you that your life is precious and worthy of being guarded. But hear me clearly. What lies ahead of you is not a sealed sentence. The direction of your life can still be renewed when your heart turns back toward me. One moment of awakening, one sincere prayer, one decision to release what has been drying out your soul. All of these can become turning points of grace. I do not call you back through threats, because salvation is not born from fear, but from obedience, awakened by love. There are things you need to lay down, not because I desire to take joy away from you, but because I can see they are quietly stealing life from within you. There are habits that need to be loosened, relationships that need healthy distance, rhythms of life that need to slow down so the ears of your heart may hear the whisper of the Holy Spirit again. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. As written in Proverbs 5:5, there have been steps you took alone because you believed you understood the road. Yet I have still been standing there, not to condemn you, but to invite you to place the steering wheel back into my hands. Remember Balaam, who walked down a path driven by his own desires even after I warned him. The donkey saw the angel standing in the way, yet Balaam himself failed to recognize it. There are moments when the human heart becomes so consumed by its own ambitions that it can no longer discern what I am trying to block for its protection. My beloved child, I remind you of that story not to frighten you, but to teach you to humbly stop and ask, Lord, is this truly the path you want me to walk? For there are things that appear to be opportunities, yet slowly drain your soul. And there are paths that seem like freedom while leading into more subtle chains. I have prepared a path for you, not only the distant eternity you wait for after this life, but a path for today itself, a path of peace in the midst of pressure, wisdom in the midst of confusion, and promises being fulfilled even while you still walk this earth. Along that path are my protection, the guidance of my word, and arrangements you cannot yet see. He will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. As written in Psalm 91:11, but in order to walk upon that path, you must turn your direction. You cannot cling tightly to the illusion of control while also holding my hand in complete trust. You cannot clearly hear my voice if every quiet place within your heart is filled with things that are urgent but not eternal. I know why you hesitate when it comes to trusting again. I know you have been disappointed, have given your heart and been wounded, have hoped deeply only to watch what you waited for fall apart. And so, when I invite you to release what feels familiar, your heart becomes uncertain. But my beloved child, I am not like those who hurt you. I do not change with the seasons. I do not make promises and then forget them. I do not call you close only to abandon you halfway through the journey. God is not a man, that he should lie, nor a son of man, that he should repent. As written in Numbers 23:19, when I say I love you, it is a love that does not fade. When I promise to protect you, it is a covenant engraved with everlasting faithfulness. So today, pause and look again. Ask your heart what has been drawing you farther away from me. What has been stealing your peace? What has been slowly draining the living water within you? Do not run from that invitation. I am calling you by your very name, with a voice only your soul can truly recognize. Lay down the things that only appear urgent on the surface, so you may take hold of what carries eternal value. Return to simple prayer, to my word, to the quiet places where you no longer need to prove anything, but only remain within my presence. And as you turn your heart back toward me, you will begin to see the direction of your life change, not through your own strength, but through my loving hand, gently leading you back onto the path of abundant life that I prepared for you long ago. My beloved child, become still in the midst of the endless movements of life, because not everything influencing your soul appears clearly before your eyes. There are pressures that come very quietly, invitations that seem harmless, paths that appear ordinary yet slowly pull your heart farther away from my peace. You may think it is only a busy day, a relationship that leaves you exhausted, a passing desire, or a small habit that seems insignificant. But, my child, your soul is more precious than you realize. Those small things, if allowed to remain too long, can slowly dry up the river within you, dim the light in your eyes, and cool the faith that once burned brightly. That is why I call you to remain awake, not so you will live in fear, but so you will remember that the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life, and have it abundantly. As written in John Zine, what I placed within you is a holy seed purpose, light, and a calling that darkness does not want you to recognize. Do not believe that the direction of your life cannot be changed. My grace is still able to redirect roads that seem to have wandered far away. The moment you stop, the moment you turn your heart toward me, the moment you sincerely pray, Father, lead me back again, the course of your soul already begins to change. Salvation does not grow out of fear, but out of obedience, awakened by love. I do not want you to run in shame. I want you to walk with me in trust. There are things you need to lay down, not because I desire to take joy away from you, but because I can see they are quietly draining the life within you. There are relationships pulling you away from purity. There are habits making your mind so noisy that you can no longer hear the voice of the Holy Spirit. There are rhythms of life that need to slow down. Because if you keep running endlessly, you will lose the ability to recognize that I am whispering right beside you. Remember Samuel when he was still a child in the temple. In the quietness of the night, I called his name. Yet at first he did not recognize my voice. Only when his heart was guided to answer. Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. Did that calling begin to open a great destiny before him? My beloved child, I am calling you in the same way, not through the noise of the world, not through pressure that drives you into panic, but through a deep and quiet voice that only your heart can truly recognize. If you continually allow your heart to be filled with other voices, you will begin to believe that I am silent, but I have never been silent toward a soul willing to listen. My sheep hear my voice, I know them, and they follow me. As written in John 17:27, I know your name, your pain, and even the crossroads you are afraid to fully place into my hands. There have been many steps you chose on your own without asking me first. And I do not say this to shame you. I only want you to understand that I cannot guide the paths you insist on controlling entirely by yourself. You often believe control brings safety. Yet many times, it is control itself that leaves you exhausted. You try to hold everything together, calculate every outcome, and protect your heart from disappointment ever happening again. I know why trusting feels frightening to you. You have been betrayed. You have hoped and been disappointed. You have opened your heart and been wounded. But my child, I am not like those who hurt you. God is not a man, that he should lie, nor a son of man, that he should repent. As written in Numbers 23:19, when I promise to love you, that love does not fade. When I promise to keep you, that promise does not change with the seasons of life. I have prepared a path for you, not only the distant eternity you await someday, but the path for today, for this very hour, for the small decisions woven throughout your life. Along that path are promises that sustain you, wisdom that gives light, and quiet protection you have often never even noticed. But to recognize that path, you must turn your direction. Lay down the things that only seem urgent, but do not nourish your soul. Take hold instead of what carries eternal value, my presence, the purity of your heart, the peace that cannot be bought or stolen by circumstances, and the love that keeps you standing firm in every storm. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. As written in Proverbs 3:5, that word does not tell you to stop thinking, but teaches you not to place your limited understanding above my all-knowing hand. My beloved child, do not fear when I point out the things that need to change. If I ask you to release something, it is because I am preparing your hands to receive something better. If I tell you to slow down, it is because I desire to save you from exhaustion before you collapse beneath it. If I call you back, it is because the true home of your soul is still found in me. I am not far from you. I have not abandoned you. I am standing beside the crossroads of your life, patiently waiting for you to look up again. And when you take my hand like a child trusting their father, you will discover that the road ahead is not nearly as frightening as you once believed. So today, pause it. Look again. Ask your soul what has been draining away its living water, what has been stealing its peace, what has been causing my voice to grow faint within your heart. Then return not through perfection, but through sincerity. I will not reject you. I will guide you step by step. Straighten what has become misdirected. Rekindle what has almost gone out. And lead you into the abundant life I prepared for you before you even knew how to speak your own name. My beloved child, stop believing that one failure is enough to make me leave you. You are human, and along the journey of your soul's growth, there will be moments when you are weak, lost, or make choices that wound even your own heart. But my child, every time you fall is not the end in my eyes. Many times, it becomes the very place where I begin a deeper work within you. What causes your soul to mature is not that you have never failed, but that through those failures, you learn how to draw closer to me, how to become more humble, and how to understand what grace truly means. When you fail, do not run away from me the way Adam hid in the garden because of shame. Run toward me instead. I am not standing there waiting to condemn you with cold eyes. I am standing there to lift you up. My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. As written in 2 Corinthians 12:9, my beloved child, I am not surprised by your weaknesses. I saw them all before you were ever formed, and I still chose to love you. What brings joy to my heart is not that you never stumble, but that you continue choosing to return to me after every moment of weakness. Do not believe that your mistakes have ruined the plans I prepared for your life. There are things you call brokenness that I use to open the door to true transformation. Remember Peter. He denied Jesus 3 times in the darkness of the night. Yet that same man who failed was restored by me to become a rock that strengthened many other souls. My beloved child, I am working in your life in the same way. The places where you hurt most deeply often become the places where my mercy is revealed most clearly. Nothing in my kingdom is wasted. No tear is meaningless. No failure is completely without purpose. No moment of regret exists that I cannot use to create something more beautiful. I am the weaver who is threading together every strand of your life, both the bright colors and the darker shades, into a picture far greater than what you can see today. There are sections that, when viewed alone, appear chaotic. But when my work is complete, you will realize that every thread had its place within the loving purpose I prepared for you. All things work together for good to those who love God. As written in Romans 8:28, my beloved child, I am not only the one who forgives you, I am also the architect quietly building your life day by day. There are moments when you feel as though you are lost inside a maze of decisions and trials, unable to find the way out. But I see the entire path from beginning to end. Everything I allow is placing another stone into the foundation of your future. Even when you do not yet understand, I am still leading you toward the place where light and purpose will become clearer than ever before. There are times when you believe you have gone too far to return. You look at the walls built by mistakes and shame and think they can no longer be crossed. But my child, no distance is great enough to keep my love from reaching you. Remember the prodigal son. While he was still far away, the father ran out to meet him before he even reached the doorway. I am looking at you in the same way. I do not wait for you to become perfect before opening my arms to you. I love you, even in the middle of your journey home. I know the burdens you are carrying. I see the worries like dark clouds covering your mind. I know there are nights when you lie awake fearing the future, grieving the past, or feeling too weak to continue. But my beloved child, you were never created to carry the weight of the whole world upon your shoulders. There are burdens that never belonged to you in the first place. Come unto me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. As written in Matthew 11:28, I do not speak those words as a distant, beautiful idea. I truly desire for you to place those burdens into my hands. Let your anxieties fall at my feet, instead of holding them tightly within your heart until you are exhausted. Let your failures stop becoming the voice that defines you. Let your soul rest in the truth that I am still with you. My yoke is not a burden meant to crush you, but cool water flowing through the desert of a weary soul. My beloved child, do you truly know how deeply I love you? I know every pain you have never spoken to anyone. I know the prayers you have not yet dared to say aloud. I know your deepest dreams, and even the fears you carefully hide behind a calm smile. Nothing within you is hidden from me. And though I know all of these things completely, I still choose to love you with an unchanging love. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands, as written in Isaiah 49:16. So today, my beloved child, let my words anchor themselves within your soul like a lamp shining in the darkness of night. I have been with you. I am with you now, and I will always be with you. No failure can separate you from my love. No night is so deep that my light cannot reach it. And there is no broken piece of your life that I cannot use to create something even more beautiful in my perfect timing. My beloved child, do not be surprised when I begin bringing life back into the places you once believed had become completely dry. There are things you laid down in tears, dreams you buried deep within yourself because you thought they would never live again. But my child, I am the one who causes flowers to bloom in the desert. I am not limited by what your eyes can see or by the conclusions people have already made. What seems like an ending to you may only be a beginning to me. Behold, I will do a new thing, now it shall spring forth. As written in Isaiah 43:19, when I move, I often make pathways where no one believed a road could exist, and I cause rivers to flow through land that seemed nothing but ashes. There will be people I bring into your life, doors I open, and opportunities that appear in ways you never expected. Do not think that every good thing in your life must arrive through familiar paths. I delight in doing things beyond the limits of human understanding, so your heart will remember that grace is not the product of control, but the gift of my love. Remember Ruth, a widowed foreign woman who believed her life had lost all hope, yet it was in an ordinary field of grain that I prepared a future for her beyond anything she could have imagined. My beloved child, I am quietly preparing things for you that you still cannot fully see. But I do not only want you to learn how to receive blessings. I want you to become someone who faithfully stewards what I place into your hands. There are many who ask for great things while their hearts are not yet ready to carry them. My child, I love you too much to place something into your hands that would crush you because you were not yet mature enough to bear it. That is why there are seasons when I teach you patience, humility, and trust before leading you into what is new. Whoever is faithful in very little will also be faithful in much. As written in Luke 16:10, the small things you are doing today are the very places where I am shaping your soul for greater things tomorrow. So when I call you to step outside your place of comfort, do not think I am pushing you into darkness. I am leading you into the bright territory of faith. There will be steps that make you tremble because you cannot yet see the entire road ahead. But my beloved child, faith has never been about seeing everything before taking the next step. Abraham left his homeland without knowing where he was going. Peter stepped out of the boat into the storm simply because he heard Jesus calling him. And it was within those seemingly risky steps that they saw my power more clearly than ever before. I do not require you to become perfect before walking with me. If only perfect people could be used by me, then no one would qualify. What I seek is a willing heart, a soul able to say, Lord, I do not understand everything, but I trust you, my child. That willingness alone is enough for me to begin doing things far greater than you can imagine. But in order to step into a new season, you must also allow me to renew what is within you. There are burdens you need to lay down. There are doubts that must be brought into the light. There are old ways of thinking that no longer have room for what I am preparing to pour into your life. No one pours new wine into old wineskins. As written in Matthew 9:17. I do not say this to make you afraid of change, but to help you understand that I am preparing your soul to become wide enough to receive what is new without being broken apart by the very blessing itself. When you surrender to me, I will fill your soul with the new life of the Holy Spirit, not so you may become prideful because of what you receive, but so you may have the strength to walk forward without collapsing beneath the changes ahead. I will teach you how to carry blessings with humility and peace. For true blessing is not merely what you possess, but my presence walking beside you through all of it. My beloved child, the most beautiful thing is not only the promises I give you, but the fact that I walk with you throughout the entire journey. I do not open a door and then leave you to enter alone. Just as I went before Israel through the cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night, I will also go before you. There are paths I have already cleared from dangers you cannot yet see. There are protections I have placed around your life that you have never even recognized. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. As written in Deuteronomy 31:8, let that promise become the very breath within your soul. When a door opens before you, do not look only at the opportunity. Remember the one who opened it. When you step into something new, do not allow fear to make you forget that I am walking beside you. And even when you do not fully understand the road ahead, know this: you are not walking alone. My hand is still holding yours, gentle yet firm, leading you step by step into the place I prepared for you through my everlasting love and grace. My beloved child, listen deeply to what I am speaking to your soul today. You have never been a mistake. You were not born by accident, nor are you defined by the days when you were weak or stumbled. Before the world ever called your name, I already knew you. Before your first cry was heard, my love had already covered your life like the light of the first dawn upon the earth. I have called you by your name. You are mine. As written in Isaiah 43:1, my child, let that truth sink deeply into the most wounded places within your heart, the places where fear and shame once tried to build a throne for lies. You are not condemned, because I myself carried the sentence in your place. You are not forgotten within this vast world, because your name is engraved upon the palms of my hands. There is no darkness deep enough to keep my love from reaching you. I know there have been years when you lived in relentless striving. You tried to fix yourself, tried to make yourself worthy of being loved, and tried to become better so no one would ever be disappointed in you again. But my beloved child, it was within those attempts to save yourself that your soul became exhausted. You were trying to do what only I can do. Only I can heal the wound at its deepest root. Only I can turn brokenness into wholeness. Only I can cleanse your soul from the shame that human effort and tears could never wash away. For it is by grace you have been saved, through faith, as written in Ephesians 2:8, not because of your works, but because of my love and mercy toward you. So today, I invite you to stop struggling. Take a deep breath and allow your heart to rest within my arms. Stop searching for love in places that can never truly fill your soul. Stop believing that you must become perfect before you are worthy of being embraced. I love you right now, even in the most unhealed places of your life. Let me hold you for a long while within my gentle presence. Let my peace flow into the places where you have spent so long merely trying to endure. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. As written in John 14:27, that peace does not come from how much harder you try, but from how deeply you allow me to love you, my beloved child. I also see within your heart a beautiful longing, a longing to live a meaningful life, a longing to become a better person, a longing to be used for something greater than yourself. But I know there have been many times when you looked at the light of others for so long that you forgot the lamp I placed within you. You wonder why you are not like them, why you are not as noticeable, strong, or gifted in the ways the world praises. But my child, I never created you to become a copy of anyone else. Every soul I create carries a unique imprint of heaven, and the imprint within you is something no one else can replace. Remember David when he was only a shepherd boy in the wilderness, while everyone else looked at his brothers and believed they were the ones worthy to be chosen. I saw David's heart hidden in the quiet places. The world is often drawn to large stages and brilliant lights, but I see faithfulness in places no one else notices. Some are called to speak before crowds, while others are called to touch a single soul who is drowning in despair within a dark corner of life. And my beloved child, even one soul rescued from hopelessness is enough to bring joy to heaven. I see things within you that even you often fail to recognize. I see the patience you have learned through pain. I see the faith still burning within you after storms that could have caused many others to collapse. I see the heart willing to forgive even after being deeply wounded. These things may not appear impressive before the world, but they are precious before me. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. As written in 1 Corinthians 1:27, I often use what is small, hidden, and humble to accomplish things far beyond human understanding. Do not diminish your value simply because the light you carry does not look like the light carried by someone else. A small candle in a dark room can still help a lost person find the way out. A gentle word from you may heal a heart no one realizes is breaking apart. One quiet act of faithfulness can move heaven more deeply than great achievements done without love. My beloved child, I do not measure your life by the applause of the world. I look at the heart. So today, stop comparing yourself to others. Stop chasing after versions of yourself that I never called you to become. Let the light I placed within you shine freely in the way I intended from the beginning. When you live faithfully according to what I created within you, your soul will finally begin to find rest. And then you will realize that the most beautiful thing is not becoming like someone else, but becoming the very person I loved and called by name before the world began. My beloved child, I am leading you into a season where your soul can no longer live superficially as it once did. This is a season of deep maturity, not the kind the world measures through age, experience, or knowledge, but the maturity of a heart that listens for my voice and obeys even before fully understanding the road ahead. I am awakening within you a spiritual life that is stronger, deeper, and more genuine than before. For the days you are about to walk through will not be like the former seasons. The winds that are coming are not like the winds you have known before, and I do not want you to enter them with a sleeping soul. This is no longer the time for you to remain standing at the edge of faith, listening to others speak about my power while living from borrowed light. I am calling you into a true experience with me personally. You cannot continue relying on old prayers that have grown cold through routine. You cannot survive only on memories of times when you once felt my presence in the past without continuing to seek me today. The faith of your parents, your mentors, or your community can never replace the personal relationship between you and me. The righteous shall live by his faith. As written in Habakkuk, Cox, Nelia, my beloved child, I desire for that faith to take root within your own soul. And so, there will be nights when it feels as though I am silent. There will be moments when you kneel to pray and no longer feel my presence as clearly as before. But do not think that I have left you. Within those quiet places, I am training your spiritual ears to recognize my voice among the countless noises of the world. Just as the prophet Elijah did not encounter me in the strong wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in the gentle whisper. I am teaching you to discern my voice amid the chaos of this age. Some lessons can only be learned in solitude. Some strengths can only be formed when no one remains beside you except me. I am not training you merely to become someone who is saved, but someone who carries and protects the holy fire in a generation that is slowly growing cold. My beloved child, I am searching for souls who do not merely speak about the light, but truly carry that light into places of darkness. I am calling you to stand among those who guard truth, among those who refuse to let their hearts be swept away by compromise and the confusion of the world. You are the light of the world. As written in Matthew 5:14, light was not created to be hidden beneath a basket, but to shine in the middle of darkness. Do not think the protection I call you into belongs to swords or human strength. The true battle always begins within the soul. I do not need you to become strong according to the world's definition. I need you to remain awake. I need you to remain faithful. I need you to be willing to rise when I call. Some battles are won not through shouting, but through a soul willing to kneel in secret prayer. Some strongholds of darkness fall simply because one person dares to live in holiness in the midst of a compromising generation. Remember Esther. She was not placed in the palace merely to live comfortably and safely for herself alone. There came a moment when she had to rise and understand that her presence in that position carried a spiritual purpose far greater than she had imagined. Mordecai said to her, "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? My beloved child, I am also placing you in this very moment for a reason. Your family, your community, and your generation need people who know how to stand in the light. And I am teaching you to become one of them. Every time you choose faithfulness instead of compromise, you are building a spiritual wall around your life. Every time you pray with a living and sincere heart, you are pouring more oil into the lamp of your soul. Every time you forgive instead of nurturing bitterness, choose truth instead of deception, choose purity instead of yielding to darkness, you are helping protect the holy things I entrusted to your care. Put on the full armor of God, as written in Ephesians 6:11. Because I do not want you to enter this season with an empty and unprepared soul. But my child, do not fear when I call you into deeper maturity. I do not call you into battle only to leave you there to defend yourself alone. I walk with you in every step. I am the one who strengthens you when you grow weary, the source of light when you lose your way, and the shelter when storms rise around you. Even when you tremble, I can still use you if your heart is still willing to say, "Lord, I am willing." So today, awaken your soul. Let the fire of prayer burn again within you. Stop living on fragments of old and fading faith, and step into a true relationship with me. The season of dependence on borrowed strength has passed. This is the season in which I am calling you to rise in the strength I, myself, placed within you from the very beginning. And as you walk in that maturity, you will realize that I was never only preparing you to survive this generation. I am preparing you to become a light within it. My beloved child, stop looking at yourself through the eyes of failure and begin seeing yourself through the light of my love. You were not born from a mistake, nor are you defined by the days when you were weak. Before the world ever spoke about you, I had already called your name with everlasting love. I have loved you with an everlasting love, as written in Jeremiah 31:3. My child, you are the result of heaven's choice. The breath I placed into this world with a purpose and value that cannot be replaced. Do not allow the lies that once covered your soul with dust to make you forget who you belong to. You do not belong to fear. You do not belong to shame. You belong to me. For I have called you by your name, you are mine. As written in Isaiah 43:1. Let those words flow through your heart like pure water, entering the driest places of your soul. There have been years when you lived like someone standing constantly on trial, always trying to prove that you were worthy of love. You pushed yourself to change, to become stronger, to become more perfect, believing that if you were finally good enough, then you would deserve to be embraced. But my beloved child, those efforts to save yourself have exhausted your soul. You have been trying to do what only I can do. Only I can redeem. Only I can heal at the deepest root. Only I can make what is broken within you whole again. Remember the woman who touched the edge of Jesus' garment in the middle of the crowd. She had lived for many years in pain and shame, trying every human way possible to find healing. Yet nothing had restored her. Only when she dared to draw near with simple faith did healing power begin to flow into her life. My beloved child, I am inviting you to come near in the same way, not with perfection, but with a sincere heart, not through your own merit, but through trust in my love. It is time for you to stop, take a deep breath, and allow every pressure to be good enough to melt away in my gentle light. I do not love you because you do everything correctly. I love you because you are my child. You no longer need to keep running in search of love through the approval of others, through recognition, or through the success this world offers. The love your soul has been longing for has surrounded you for a long time already. In every breath, I continue sustaining for you. In every morning you still awaken. In every moment you thought you would collapse, yet somehow were lifted again, without understanding why. My child, what I desire today is not grand promises from you. I simply want you to remain within my love long enough for your soul to be healed. Be still, and know that I am God. As written in Psalm 46:10, true peace does not come from how much harder you strive, but from how deeply you allow me to love you. There are wounds you cannot cleanse through tears or self-punishment, but my love can reach the deepest places within you and renew them through grace. I also see within you a beautiful longing, the longing to live a meaningful life, the longing to become better, the longing to do what brings joy to heaven. But many times, while looking at the light carried by others, you have forgotten the lamp I lit within your own soul. My beloved child, I never created you to become a copy of anyone else. Every person I create carries a unique imprint from heaven. No two souls reflect my light in exactly the same way. Some are called to stand before crowds, while others are called to quietly heal a single heart that is drowning in despair. Some are used in ways the world considers great and visible, while others are placed by me within ordinary life to bring light into unnoticed places. And my child, heaven does not measure value by human applause. I look at faithfulness. I look at love. I look at the gentleness you still carry even after everything that wounded you. I see within you a patience that many other souls are praying to receive. I see the faith that has kept you standing through storms that seemed capable of completely destroying you. I see the ability to forgive even after your heart has been deeply wounded. These things may not appear loud or impressive before the world, but they shine brightly before me. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. As written in 1 Corinthians 1:27, I often take what is small, hidden, and humble to create things that bring joy to all of heaven. So, my beloved child, do not diminish your value simply because the light you carry does not look like the light carried by someone else. A small lamp in a dark room is still enough to guide a lost person home. A gentle word from you may rescue a soul from despair. One quiet act of love can touch heaven more deeply than grand displays that are empty of love. Stop living as though you are condemned. Walk instead as someone who has been loved since before the foundation of the world. Let me teach you how to rest within grace, instead of exhausting yourself trying to prove your worth. And then you will understand that the most beautiful thing about your life is not becoming the most noticeable person, but becoming exactly who I gently created you to be through my everlasting love. My beloved child, do not panic when you realize that the road ahead of you does not look like the familiar paths others have walked before. There are journeys I do not outline with clear, visible lines for human eyes to see, because I want you to learn how to walk by faith rather than by worldly certainty. But be at peace, because before your feet ever reach any crossroads, my hand has already passed through that place. I am the one who sees the entire picture, while you can only see a small part of the road. There is no trial you face that I did not already know beforehand. There is no valley you walk through where I have not already prepared the staff and the hand that will keep you standing firm. The Lord will guide you continually. As written in Isaiah 58:11, my child, every step you take in obedience has already been sanctified by my love and purpose. There will be days when you ask why this journey feels so long, why the promise seems delayed, why the things you have prayed for have not yet appeared. But I want you to understand that waiting in my kingdom is never empty or meaningless. It is the ground I use to prepare your soul for what is coming. A seed does not bloom the moment it is planted. It must pass through dark soil before reaching the light. In the same way, many things I am doing within you right now are still quietly forming beneath the surface where your eyes cannot yet see them. Let your heart become like dry ground lifted toward the heavens, waiting for the first rain of the season. Do not wait with fear or impatience, but with holy expectation. There is a great difference between someone waiting in despair and someone waiting in faith. The desperate person watches the clock. The faithful person watches the promise. My beloved child, when you continue believing, even while nothing appears to change, you are declaring to heaven that your heart still belongs to me, and it is that faith that shakes the unseen realm. Remember Hannah, the woman who wept for many years in the temple because her prayer seemed unanswered. She did not immediately see the miracle, but every time she returned to pray, her soul was being prepared more deeply for what I was about to give her. And then, at the appointed time, Samuel was born not only as an answer to her pain, but as a gift for an entire generation. My child, many of the things you are waiting for are not meant only for you. Some promises I place upon your life carry influence far beyond what you understand today. I want you to learn how to wait the way a farmer looks toward the sky. The farmer does not pull the plant upward with his own hands. He does not dig up the seed every day to check whether it has begun to grow. He simply remains faithful in caring for the field entrusted to him, trusting that the rain will come at the proper time. My beloved child, that is also what I am teaching you in this season. Care for your soul instead of trying to control the timing of miracles. Water your mind with my word instead of with doubt. Keep your heart soft, so the seed of faith will not be choked by the stones of bitterness and disappointment. Those who sow in tears shall reap with songs of joy. As written in Psalm 126:5, I see the tears you have quietly shed. I know there are prayers you have repeated so many times that even you have grown weary of saying them. But my child, not a single tear you offer to me is wasted. I am using them to water the field of miracles that you cannot yet see. There are seasons when you think you are only losing things, while in truth I am planting something that will bloom far greater than you can imagine. Do not let delay harden your heart. Do not let time cause you to doubt my faithfulness. I am never late according to heaven's clock. There are things that, if I gave them to you too early, would become burdens instead of blessings. That is why I use seasons of waiting to enlarge your soul, so that when what I promised finally arrives, you will not only be strong enough to receive it, but also wise and humble enough to steward it well. And my beloved child, remember this, The path I am writing for your life does not end in wilderness and emptiness. Every step, every delay, every moment when you felt as though you were standing still, all of it is merely the introduction to a greater song I am composing through your life itself. One day, when you look back, you will understand that nothing was meaningless. The waiting taught you how to trust more deeply. The dark nights taught you how to listen more clearly. The tears softened the soil of your heart so the seeds of heaven could take root. So today, keep believing, keep sowing, keep praying, even while the sky still seems silent. And when my season arrives, you will see that what was once planted in tears has now blossomed into songs of joy, because my faithful hand has never stopped working over your life. My beloved child, remain in my embrace. Even while your heart still carries cracks you do not yet know how to heal. Do not wait until you feel worthy enough before returning close to me. Because if you keep waiting until you are perfect, you will wander in exhaustion forever. I did not begin loving you after you were repaired. I loved you in the middle of your most broken places. Stay with me, even when you feel undeserving. Stay with me, even when your soul is weary from months and years of battling against yourself. Stay with me, even when the whole world makes you feel as though you no longer belong anywhere. For only within my love will your heart finally discover its true home. For so many years, you have lived like someone fighting to be accepted. You tried to please others, tried to become stronger, better, more perfect, only to hear one word of approval that might soothe the insecurity inside you. But, my beloved child, in me, you no longer need to fight for your value. Your worth was established through the very life of my only Son. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. As written in John 3:16, that love is not fragile or shifting according to your success or failure. It is an eternal covenant written in grace. When you remain within my love, you will learn the kind of peace this world can neither create nor steal away. The world offers peace based on favorable circumstances, but I give you a river of peace flowing from my very presence. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world gives. As written in John 14:27, this is the kind of peace that remains even when the storm has not passed, when the answer has not yet come, when everything around you still feels chaotic. For its source is not found in circumstances, but in me. My child, stop running. I know that every time you drift away, you carry the fear that you have lost the chance to return. Darkness always whispers that I have grown tired of you, that I have turned away, that your failures are too great for you to be embraced once again. But that has never been my voice. My child, if I truly wanted to abandon you, I would not still be calling your name in the darkest nights of your life. I have seen every tear you hid in silence. I know the moments when you doubted yourself, the times you prayed and felt as though heaven gave no answer. And even there, I was closer than you realized. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. As written in Isaiah 43:1, let those words be engraved upon your soul like an unquenchable flame. You are not forgotten. You are not rejected. You are not a lost child whom I have stopped searching for. Remember the prodigal son. While he was still far away, the father ran toward him before he could even finish his words of repentance. My beloved child, I am standing in that same place with open arms, waiting for you. My love does not know how to give up. There are wounds within you that the world could never fully understand. There are broken pieces you have hidden behind calm smiles, but I see them all, and I am not afraid of those broken places within you. I can touch the deepest parts of your soul without causing you more pain. I can restore what seems impossible to heal. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. As written in Psalm 147:3, I do not only want to soothe your pain temporarily, I want to restore you from the roots upward, so you may rediscover who you truly are, as I created you from the beginning, pure, free, and full of life. My beloved child, remaining in my love does not mean you will never face trials again, but it does mean you will no longer face them alone. When you remain in me, I will become your shelter in the storm. When you are weak, I will be the strength that lifts you up. When you lose your way, I will be the light that guides you. And when you no longer know how to love yourself, I will teach you to see yourself through the eyes of grace. So today, stop running from your own soul. Stop trying to prove that you are worthy of love. Return and rest in me. Let me hold you for a long while within the gentle presence you have been searching for all this time. And little by little, you will realize that what you needed most was never to become someone else, but simply to remain in my love long enough to become the person I have loved since before time began. My beloved child, I am leading you into a deeper dimension of maturity, a place where you no longer live like a child seeking only comfort, but become someone who stands firm in the spiritual responsibility I have entrusted to you. Maturity in me is not merely knowing more teachings or understanding more spiritual truths. It is daring to let those truths transform the way you live, the way you love, the way you face trials, and the way you guard the light I have placed within you. There are things I am cutting away from you, not because I desire to hurt you, but because I am preparing you for the crown of a watchman, one who stays awake in an age that sleeps, one who protects what is holy, even when the world chooses compromise. My child, true maturity always walks hand in hand with pain. A seed must break open before it can grow into a mighty tree. Gold must pass through fire before it can reflect its brightest radiance. And your soul is no different. I am leading you away from places of false security, away from habits that keep you dependent upon emotions, away from immature faith that only survives when life is favorable. There are seasons when I allow you to pass through loneliness so you may learn to cling to me more than to human approval. There are doors I close so you may understand that true safety is not found in circumstances, but in my presence. When I am weak, then I am strong. As written in 2 Corinthians 12:10, for it is within that weakness that my power is revealed most completely. Do not let fear make you forget that I am very near. Fear causes your eyes to see only the waves and the storm, while failing to see my hand holding you above the waters. Remember Peter, when he stepped out of the boat into the raging sea. As long as his eyes remained fixed on Jesus, he was able to walk upon the waves. But the moment he looked at the storm, his heart began to sink in fear. My beloved child, many times, what causes you to fall is not the storm around you, but the fact that you forget to look toward me in the middle of it. I do not call you to walk by faith and then abandon you alone. The same hand that created the stars is also holding your life every single day. You are not forgotten in the chaos of this world. I know there are moments when you look around and feel as though everything is falling apart. Plans that failed, relationships that changed, things that once gave you security no longer feeling the same. But my child, even when everything seems to collapse, I am still quietly working within every broken piece. I am the one who can create beauty from ashes. There are things I remove from your hands, not because I wish to punish you, but because I am making room for something better to enter your life. There are doors I close only because behind them lies a path that would wound your soul more deeply than you realize. For I know the plans I have for you, plans for peace and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. As written in Jeremiah 29:11, my beloved child, the future I am writing for you is not formed from the darkness of despair, but from the light of hope and restoration. Perhaps today you cannot yet see the entire picture, but I am arranging every detail with the precision of everlasting love. I know there are paths I allow you to walk that leave your heart weary, but those roads were never created to crush you. They were meant to show you how much greater my strength is than your own ability. There are lessons you can only learn when there is nothing left for you to hold on to, except me. And it is in those places that your faith no longer remains a borrowed theory from someone else, but becomes a real experience engraved deeply into your soul. My child, let your heart rest in me. Stop trying to gather every broken piece with your own trembling hands. Give them to me. A potter does not throw away the clay simply because it becomes misshapen upon the wheel. And I do not abandon you simply because your life contains seasons of confusion and disorder. I am reshaping everything with wisdom far beyond your understanding. One day, when you look back, you will realize that the most painful seasons were the very places where I was quietly building depth, gentleness, and strength within you. And the day will come when you understand that not a single tear has been forgotten. The prayers you thought disappeared into silence are still being kept before me. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. As written in Psalm 56:8, every sacrifice, every moment you kept believing while your heart was weary, every night you continued praying through silence, all of it is becoming seed for a harvest far more glorious than you can yet imagine. So today, my beloved child, do not fear the process I am working within you. Do not be afraid when I begin cutting away old things. Do not fear when you feel yourself being pulled out of familiar places. I am not destroying you, I am maturing your soul. And when the appointed time comes, you will see that every pain, every season of waiting, every moment you thought you were about to collapse, all of it was simply my way of preparing you to carry greater light, deeper peace, and stronger love within the very journey I ordained for your life from the beginning. My beloved child, I am renewing your life in ways far deeper than your eyes can presently see. I am not merely changing a few outward circumstances or rearranging the confusion around you. I am reaching into the deepest places of your soul, the places where old memories, long-hidden wounds, and silent fears have taken root. I am breathing new life into you. Just as in the beginning I breathed life into humanity, formed from dust. And when my breath touches you, what has withered will begin to live again. You have lived too long through what has already passed, through memories of painful days, through regret over what never happened, through wounds that convinced you you could never truly heal. But my child, I did not call you to live beneath the shadow of your past. I called you to live in the life of the present moment, where my grace still flows every day like fresh water. Behold, I will do a new thing, now it shall spring forth. As written in Isaiah 43:19, what I am doing is not merely patching up old things. I am creating something new from the ashes of former seasons. There are relationships slowly leaving your life, not because you are abandoned, but because their season has ended. There are old patterns of thinking I am removing from your mind because they no longer belong to where I am leading you. There are wounds I am touching to heal at the deepest root, even though sometimes that healing hurts like removing bandages that have clung to wounded skin for far too long. But my beloved child, I never take anything away without a loving purpose behind it. Leaves must fall in autumn so new buds can have space to grow in spring. And I am doing the same within your soul. Do not cling in sorrow to what I have allowed to pass away. If it were still necessary for your destiny, I would have preserved it. Remember Abraham when I called him to leave the familiar land of his home and walk toward a place he had never seen. If he had clung to the old place because he feared change, he would never have discovered how great my promise for him truly was. My child, There are things I must remove from your hands, not to leave you empty, but so your hands will be free enough to receive the better things I am preparing to give you. Do not fear what is new simply because it is unfamiliar. My light is not present only upon the roads you already know. Sometimes I lead you through paths no one has yet mapped, so you may learn to trust me more than you trust familiar security. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. As written in Psalm 119 to 105, I do not illuminate the entire journey at once. I shine enough light for the next step so you may learn to hold my hand day by day. My beloved child, the renewal I bring is not the ending of your story, but the doorway into a season that is deeper, more peaceful, and more genuine than before. Some people think change means loss, but in my kingdom, change is often a form of mercy. I am rewriting the story of your life with the ink of grace. There are lines once blurred by tears, pages that seemed filled only with pain. Yet in my hands, even those pages become a beautiful part of the story of redemption. I know that sometimes you do not understand why I allow certain things to leave your life. There are nights when you look at the empty spaces and see only loss. But, my child, a gardener must prune old branches so the tree can bear greater fruit. I am doing the same with the gentlest love. What I remove is not meant to impoverish your soul, but to prepare room for something better to enter at the appointed time. And the day will come when you look back and understand that no change was meaningless. The very things that once caused you pain became the places where my light shone most clearly. The things that closed were the very things protecting you from roads that were never meant for you. And what I finally opened before you will be far more beautiful than the things you once tried so hard to hold on to with your own strength. So today, my beloved child, allow me to renew you. Let go of what has already died. Let the old leaves fall without regret. Allow the river of my grace to wash the dust of former seasons from your soul. And when the new buds of a new season begin to appear in your life, you will realize that the hand guiding you through those dark days never left you for even a single moment.